Ladies and gentlemen, let me blow your mind with this. There is something big that is happening right now in Ghana. It's going to blow big in the entire African continent. It is going to blow big in the world between 25th and 26th March. In case you don't know this, let me keep you up to
Ghana
date on this.
wishes to draw attention to the very consequential resolution which President John Dramani Mahama of Ghana will be tabling on the 25th of March, which is just next week, Wednesday, a few days from now. This is a resolution seeking to declare the transatlantic slave trade as the gravest crime against humanity. For more than 300 years, Africans were treated as property, were tortured, humiliated, raped, and forced out of the continent, over 12.5 million of them, in the most dehumanizing and despicable circumstances. The world is yet to acknowledge this. Perpetrators are yet to apologize and have not compensated the victims. This is a time to demand reparatory justice, and this is the time to demand
The foreign minister, who
restitution.
is Honorable Samuel Blackwell, went to the Caribbean nations to also woo them to his side in order to help him recognize slavery as genocide at the UN General Assembly, which will be held very soon. All right. He did not stop there. He also went to Brazil to also woo President Lula da Silva to also join his side in order to push
This
this
is
agenda.
the objective of the ministerial meeting that Brazil will organize in April 9. Brazil, Latin American, and the Caribbean work together to Africa in different multilateral initiatives. For more than 10 years, from 2025, in a declaration of the human rights, Brazil supports the resolution of the African Group of the General Assembly that declares that the African human trafficking is one of the worst human atrocities of the humanity. Without the cohesion acting of the South-South cooperation, we risk of crystallizing a scenario of paralysis that goes against the commercial agreements. My friends, the bridge between our regions is not made only of agreements and declarations. It's made also from people, from a diaspora that unites us. The territories are not only soil, but history alive. Latin America and the Caribbean and Africa are the same territory, essential, marked by resistance, fight, dignity.
Even though this agenda is actually a good move, I have an opposition to it. These third wave Pan Africanists are nothing short of racism and hypocritical tendencies. Let me explain. There were two great evils that happened to black people in history. Before transatlantic slavery happened, there was one type of slavery which, if you only went to primary school in Ghana, you were never taught. If you went to senior high school, it was a choice to do history. So the government is deliberate about history. History is not taught at all levels in Ghana. The government is deliberate which type of history should be taught, which groups of people should be indoctrinated. Before transatlantic slavery, there was what is known as trans-Saharan slavery. Who carried out this trans-Saharan slavery? It was the Arabs. The Arab Muslims carried out this evil trade. It started, as some historians would have it, from the 7th century all the way to 18th to 19th century. Some accounts will tell you to 20th century. Now, this trade was equally evil and more disastrous and barbaric even than the transatlantic slavery. When the Arabs came, they took control over so many territories, enslaved a lot of black men and black women. The black women were kept as sex slaves. If you go to East Africa, there was a guy there called Tip Tip. He was so evil that he was the one having a gun. He would go to villages and raid them and sell them. Even if he raided a community that had pregnant women, what Tip Tip would do, he would shoot the pregnant woman with the baby, because to him that was a useless commodity. Right. That was how evil transatlantic slavery was. That is the reason for which you see a lot of Arabs uh, at the coast of East Africa, Mombasa, Zanzibar, and the rest. And that is where this language, Swahili, is. There's a bit of Arabic in it. Okay. These groups of blacks they took to the Arab world, they exterminated, eliminated them completely. At one point of time, there was something called the Zanj Rebellion. The Zanj Rebellion was blacks taken into the Arab world, rebelling against the Arab conquest or rule when they were still in captivity. You can read this, pick any good book and read this. Go to like a bookshop or any EPP bookshop and get any book on this and read it. It was so barbaric. For centuries, our people were murdered. Same Arabs were the ones who enslaved even the Europeans for centuries. Even they were the ones who taught the Europeans this level of evil. Okay, that did not stop there. Just when the Arab slavery was about to end, remember, the Arab castrated a lot of black males. What was the reason for that? Can you guess why they castrated a lot of black males? Even young boys were castrated by these Arabs. What do you think they did that? Your guess should be as good as mine. If you kept them with their balls in shape, they were going to impregnate a lot of women, and a lot of black kids will be born in that region. So they decided to exterminate them by that tactics of castration. But just as when this evil trade was about to end, the Europeans also came in. But this is something that is fantastic about the European slave trade. African chiefs played roles in this evil trade. Professor Edu Bohin documented this heavily. That's my favorite historian in Ghana. Pebia, Akosua Pebia, I read her book. I don't know where it is right now in my room. I gave it to somebody. Also documented how African chiefs played massive roles in transatlantic slavery. The blacks they took away, they are still alive. Most of them or some of them are still alive today. Now, this is my problem with this recognition that our government is trying to push. Why not mention the two evils as bad, but you are choosing and picking transatlantic slavery? That is racism. The guys who are actually doing this, they wear suits every day, all the time, 24/7 a day. They are in suits. Which language are they speaking? They will not walk to that place, they'll fly. It is because of this evil liberal idea that is eating the Western society so much that the government is speaking one side of the story. These same people, these same white guys are the ones who still give us money to promote education in this country or in the continent as a whole. That is the problem. Why are they not talking about transatlantic, trans-Saharan slavery the same way they are venting on the transatlantic slavery? It is choosing and picking which side is easier to attack because they receive a lot of money from the Arabs, not to talk about this. That's my opinion. The government receives money from the Arabs consistently. They are great donors, so they receive a lot of things from them, not to talk about trans-Saharan slavery and the evils that came with it. And this is the reason I cannot take the third wave Pan-Africanists seriously. I detest them. They are evil as the slave raided. Why is it that the African chiefs didn't apologize to our brothers and sisters in the diaspora? But every day they have to, just play this gimmick as though they are serious about slavery. Africans sold Africans into slavery for mirror, for alcohol, for wheelbarrow, for gunpowder, just because there were tribes they didn't like, so they needed to raid their villages and to sell them to the Europeans. If my father grabs me and sells me off, I have problem with my father. I don't have problem with the one who he sells me to. That is the point. Fools will tell you on the internet that it was during war, so anybody caught as a captive in war, those were the people sold to the Europeans. Those people were the green people. What you are literally saying logically is that it was good that those people were sold. It is a stupid analogy and understanding of slavery. For where I live, for the past 3 weeks, we have not seen water flowing through the pipes. The entire community, water ain't flowing. Schools are under trees. Roads are not good. Nothing is actually working the way you would expect. But the government is spending money trying to woo people from one continent to another in order to recognize slavery. Who the damn cares about slavery today? Who gives a fuck? And that is not all. Even in abolishing of slavery, there were tons of white people who actually played a role in stopping this trade. There were tons of white people. William Wilberforce, if you read history, William Wilberforce was one. Granville Sharp was one. William Pitt, the younger, was another. He was a friend of William Wilberforce. Thomas Clarkson was another person. Henry Thornton, Fowell Baxton, and James Stephen. These men laid down their lives in the fight to abolish slavery. So what are these people going to do? My pain is they are talking about the Arab slavery, and they have chosen this path. Why so? It is because of you weak white people. That is why I do tell your people, even the foods you ate today, all of them are from the Europeans. They taught you how to build because we were not building any better housing here. What did slavery take away from us? What was built in the continent before the Europeans came? Look at our housing styles, European architecture. That is it. The roads, McMadison, yes. What are you talking about? This bullshit of everyday slavery, and like it's not going to solve any problem. Practically, it's not going to solve any problem. They will circle back because they are begging for money to spend in Switzerland, France, and Dubai. They ain't getting it, so they need to devise another ways and means in order to talk about slavery. I am out of this bullshit. When they know they have problems, they cannot fix the economy, they cannot fix the roads, they need to find a boogeyman somewhere, need to find something to blame that is the reason certain things ain't working. No, it's your bullshit of incompetency. That's the reason things ain't working for all African leaders. It's a bullshit. Why hook on slavery? Who is a slave now? You are the ones taking loans from them because they're better than you. I always say, white guys are far better than us in any way, shape, and form. They have a better system than we do, better educational system than we do. We borrow from them. They feed us. Without them, we won't have these technologies that we have used in our homes, and our government also uses the same. Don't tell me about black inventors in the United States because the Americans, you sold them out. So don't recognize them part of your lineage. You sold them because you didn't like the tribe they were coming from. That is why tribalism still exists right here in Ghana. A lot of y'all don't know it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, FOLA TV. Give the video a thumbs up so that it can reach more people. And also, don't forget to put your comment in the comment section. Whatever you think about this video, let me know. Even if it is an insult, give it to me because I know you cannot research this, you cannot fact check this. You are only riding with your emotions. See ya.